Here with the one and only former world champion, retired at the moment, hopefully stays retired.
I'm retired, bro.
Mikey Garcia. Yo, Mikey, let's talk about a lot of things before we even get into what you've been up to and what you've been doing and everything. First, let's talk about this past weekend and the fights that happened this weekend. The biggest controversy or the biggest question is, it was a majority draw, but yet everybody saw Tank take that knee, and the ref didn't call it a knockdown.
Yeah.
Didn't come after a punch or anything, but from what you know as a fighter, as a boxer, you fought in New York as well. Was that a knockdown? Was that a voluntary knockdown?
That was a knockdown, bro. It should have been counted a knockdown. Anytime a fighter takes a knee or glove touches the ground, that should be an automatic knockdown. He didn't go down from a punch that hurt him or anything. Not a flash knockdown, but he did take a knee, and he actually took a knee after a jab. If you look at the tape, it was a jab, and he kind of takes a couple steps back and takes a knee. Someone could have said that was a delayed effect. Someone else could have said it was a delayed, punch that might disturb his eye or whatever, and took a knee. Point of it is, that should have been a knockdown. That should have overturned the scorecard, and if that was the case, then Roach would have won.
Furthermore, he goes to the corner after he gets up, and they wipe his face off and everything.
They could have called off the fight there. They could have disqualified the corner, or he turns his back and walks away from the fight. That could have been a knockout lost, But at bare minimum, that's a knockdown.
Yeah, and taking back to what you just said, that's kind of what happened with Angulo when he fought Lara. He got hit in the eye. He turned around and they stopped it right there.
Called it off. And I mean, circumstances throughout the fight. The ref has to judge. That's his job, to judge whether, maybe the fighter's taking enough punishment where he turns his back, they're going to call it. Or if it's a different occasion where it's something might happen and the fighter kind of takes a little step to the side, they might want to wonder what's going on. Is there something, is there an issue? But again, a fighter takes a knee or touches the ground, the canvas with his glove, whatever, at bare minimum, that's a knockdown. At bare minimum. So to me, that they should have called it. That would have changed the scorecard, and again, Roach would have been the winner.
Where do you think they go from here? Do you think they do a rematch, considering the fact nobody really gave Roach a shot, really? A lot of people thought Tank was going to go in there, especially
I was one of them.
Especially after what he did to Frank Martin and everything.
I was one of them. I think they will do a rematch. I think they actually will. Hopefully, it's an immediate rematch. I think fans would really enjoy that also. And Roach would obviously enjoy that because he wants to, get a shot at him again after a performance that no one really believed he could pull off, and he did. I'm sure he feels like they robbed him from that victory. I mean, I would like to see the rematch. It was a good fight. And because of the controversy, it deserves a rematch, an immediate rematch, not just a rematch, down the year, 2 years. No, immediate. I hope they get it, and I think they will, because Tank's team, and he doesn't want to leave it up to, controversy like that, so he'll take the rematch.
Tank himself has said that he's going to retire after this year. Do you think the performance he put on that day kind of insinuates that he's not taking boxing as, I'm not going to say seriously, but more dedicated to it like he was in the past compared to now him thinking about retirement?
I don't know. I think it wasn't so much that he didn't perform to his full potential. I think it's that Roach actually had a really good game plan, and he stepped up, and just performed, to his best of his abilities, and that made it a much more difficult fight for Tank, and much more, not necessarily harder, but it was more difficult for Tank to overcome, and he saw someone that was there for a win, not just there to get paid and take a paycheck. He was there to win. So I think you saw the best version of Roach, and I mean, that's why he was able to perform the way he did. Tank wants to retire, maybe. I mean, who knows? He's young enough, still healthy enough to continue, but if he felt like, maybe this is his last year, then maybe do the rematch. And if he clearly dominates on the rematch, then he could retire and fully, finish his career and be happy. Who knows? I mean, only a few, a few months maybe will tell.
Now let's talk about the Gary Antoine Russell versus camp fighter Rayo and everything. Rayo got completely overwhelmed by Gary's athleticism and the fight style that Gary was fighting. Why do you think Rayo was not able to adjust in that type of a situation?
It's hard to say. I mean, we seen him train. We seen Rayo spar. He was doing great. He was looking terrific. We really felt that we had a very good chance in this fight. We knew it was going to be a difficult fight. We knew it was going to be a tough fight. We've seen Russell and we've seen video. So we knew we were in a good fight. But being that Rayo was training so hard and sparring very well, we felt that we had a really good shot at it. We knew it was going to be a difficult fight. But I never imagined Russell being so dominant the way he was. I mean, I don't know what happened. I haven't talked to Rayo about it. But it just seemed like he just wasn't in the fight. Maybe he just felt, maybe he was a little off for some reason. I don't know. He didn't show the desire, the hunger, maybe. At least that's what I saw from ringside. So I don't know. I haven't talked to him yet. I've spoken to my brother and all of us, and we all felt we saw the same thing. He just wasn't engaging enough. He was waiting too long. I don't know. I mean, some fighters just have a bad night, I guess, sometimes, and I don't know what else could have been the issue. But congrats to Russell. He came in there to win, and he was throwing more combinations. He was being the aggressor. He was landing good shots. So he did his job. He did his part.
Do you think this will be helpful to Rayo? Because we've seen Rayo come off of losses, do so much better the next time around. Not maybe against the same opponent, but obviously something just snaps into him after a loss that he has much better performances afterwards. Do you think maybe this might get him back on track if something was just a bad night or something?
Yeah, I mean, again, if it was just a bad night that cost him the loss, I mean, he'll come back and maybe learn from that and maybe put away some distractions that he might have had. I don't know what cost him the bad night, but if it was something like that, then he should learn from that and either put away certain things, distractions, or keep certain things, to himself. I don't know what it was, but obviously you do learn from a loss, whether it's how to mentally prepare better or something you need to do a little bit different in gym or cutting weight. I don't know, maybe he was a little too drained from weight, from the weight cut, and maybe couldn't really perform. I don't know what it was, like I said, but there always is lessons within a loss.
Now let's move on to another camp fighter actually having a great performance and showing off the skills that we all know he has. A couple of weeks ago, before this weekend, we saw Virgil Ortiz, the fight that he had. He fought an opponent that in August of last year gave Terence Crawford a lot of problems, but yet he was able to land more, he was able to do more, and he was able to actually have a better performance than Crawford was. Do you think that we're seeing the best of Virgil right now?
I think the last two fights have shown Virgil's ability to make adjustments, which sometimes you were not able to see because he was winning so easy in a few rounds. But when you're fighting world-class level fighters, they're going to be tougher than the average opponent. They're going to be more skilled, more experienced. And these last couple of fights have shown that, especially against Madrimov. Madrimov was boxing the first couple rounds. I don't know if it was so effective, but it was definitely complicating things for Virgil. Madrimov was moving around the ring plenty, and it was, giving Virgil some complications there in the first rounds. Eventually, Virgil was able to cut the ring enough, start landing some shots that slowed down Madrimov, and you could see the size and the pressure starting to take over, and Virgil started to really dominate. Towards the end of the fight, he even stunned Madrimov a few times on a couple occasions, to the point where Madrimov started to just smother Virgil and just try to, maybe survive. But it was a very dominant performance, and comparing that to other Madrimov against Crawford, like you mentioned, different styles make different fights. But in this case, Virgil was able to make the adjustments necessary and impose his size, power, and pressure, and take over. And again, that shows the fans that there's a lot more to Virgil than what you had seen in the previous fights. He won his first 18 fights or whatever, all easy wins, that people can sometimes have doubts. But now he's proving himself over and over that, he is a world-class fighter, a world champion for a reason.
What do you think is next for Virgil? I know last year he was so looking forward to that Tim Tszyu fight, and we see what's happening with Tim Tszyu, or what has happened to Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu now looks like he's going to be on a collision course with Keith Thurman because they're trying to set that up once again because that was a pay-per-view.
Sure.
That was supposed to happen last year, but it didn't. Where does Virgil go from here?
I'm not his manager, so I don't know.
Where would you want him to go from here?
But, he's got options. Definitely has a lot of options. There's a lot of fighters in that division right now. It's pretty stacked. You can pursue a Fedorov fight. You can, maybe find if Crawford's willing to take it. I don't think Crawford will ever take a fight like that. Crawford's gonna go and pursue fights like Canelo or someone of that nature. But I mean, there's a lot of other fighters, a lot of options. I think Virgil again has proven himself plenty already, to where anybody in the division is gonna be a big fight for Virgil. He is a star himself, and he can definitely be headlining all these shows on his own. He's proven that. He's a fan favorite. So, I mean, he's got plenty of options. And, I mean, we're excited to just watch him fight every single time because he gives a good fight every fight he's in. And I think the fans appreciate that too.
Now we're in March. Usually when we're around this time is when the big events for May start popping out, for that Cinco de Mayo weekend and everything like that. And we actually do have a big one, and that's the one in New York. That's the one, I think they're calling it Fatal Fury or something like that. But the lineup is stacked. Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, which is was a camp fighter here. We have Teofimo Lopez versus Arnold Barboza Jr. We have Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero and everything. What are your thoughts? Because obviously, when you were in boxing, this wasn't a thing. The Turkish, but they're making these things. They're making these events. They're making these fights. They're making these super cards. What are your thoughts on their addition into boxing and what they're dishing out for the fans?
Well, they're putting together great cards, great matchups that the fans want to see. So I'm excited for it. I'm all for it. Fighters are getting paid very well. Fighters are getting paid well to take, part on big fights that sometimes in earlier years the fans never get to see because of different promoters working, different networks working, complicates things, and the fans are left out, wishing for certain fights. But right now, I mean, these fights are actually getting done, and now they're doing them in crazy venues, Times Square or things of that. So, I mean, I'm all for it. I think it's fun. I think it'll be a great card. Any one of these could be headlining their own show, any of these matchups. But to be all in one card, I mean, that just gives everybody a great, bang for their buck. I mean, I hear it's going to be free possibly. So, I mean, what else can you ask for as a fan? Where they go from here, I mean, if this keeps going, then I think the fans are in for a great year. It's only March, and you're starting to see the lineup for future fights. This 2 weeks ago, same thing out there in Saudi. They had a great card. The most world championship fights, in a card. And this last weekend, they had 4 world title fights this last weekend. So if they keep doing this throughout the year, you're going to have a great year.
Now let's break down the Fatal Fury card. Everybody knows that they're trying to set up Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney Part 2, but Ryan's in there with Rollies and Haney's in there tough with Jose. How do you even see both of them coming out victorious in that to make that Part 2 happen?
I don't know if, I mean, they might want to do that rematch again, but I don't know if the fans really need to see the rematch. There was some controversy after the fact, after we learned about positive tests, from Ryan and issues of the weight, but they agreed to the fight with the weight class, the 3 pounds or whatever it was, and I mean I saw total dominance from Ryan. So I don't know if the fans are as excited to see the rematch. I mean they might be able to pull it off, but I mean they ain't in easy fights either. I mean Rolly's he's a tough motherfucker. He's gonna be there to fight. Now I still think Ryan wins, but it ain't gonna be an easy night. Rollies is tough, and he also can bang, so it'll be a good fight. I think it'll be an exciting matchup. I think Ryan wins, but it'll be a good, exciting matchup. With Jose and Haney, that's a pretty even matchup. Look, Haney lost pretty bad against Ryan last year. He's going to be fighting Jose, who didn't perform very well in his last one, but Jose's not one. He didn't get beat up. He didn't get knocked out. He didn't get dropped, So Jose still has plenty to show. It just wasn't his night, Again, sometimes these fighters, you have a bad night, an off night. No excuses, but that's just the way it is. It's the reality of it. Other fighters claim, mental health issues right away to claim, why he didn't perform. Well, the reality is that every once in a while, fighters don't have a good night, and that's just the reality. Haney ain't in an easy fight with Jose. Jose's a tough motherfucker. He hits hard. If Haney's not 100% healed or recovered from that loss, Jose can hurt him too. Jose's a pretty big puncher, and Jose catches him, Haney's going down. That'll screw up all future plans that they have, and maybe you'll end up seeing Jose and Ryan in the near future. But all these matches can mix and match.
Yeah.
All these guys are in the same weight class, same level of experience where they can mix and match all these. So regardless of who's who first, you're gonna see great matchups in the rest of the rest of the year.
Finally, going into May, we heard about Canelo fighting Scroll and everything. Are fans getting tired of the Canelo act? Do you think? Are you getting tired of the Canelo act?
I don't know who this guy is. I've never seen him. I know he picked up the vacant title that Canelo left. The IBF was requesting Canelo handle his mandatory. He vacated it, and this guy picks it up. But I've never seen him, so I have no idea, who he is or how he fights. For all I know, he might be a great fighter, but I don't know. I haven't seen him. I don't know if the fans even know this guy either. And but I also know Canelo don't give a fuck. Canelo's there to fight this guy, become champion again, collect that belt once again, become undisputed again, and collect a big paycheck. And then his next few fights will be the same thing. He's collecting big paycheck, for whatever fight he chooses to take on. So Canelo don't give a fuck about what we think or what we say about who he fights. His goals are not in boxing achievements anymore. He's already done it. He's been champion in 4 divisions. He's been undisputed. He's been at the top of the game. For him now, he's just there to collect all the money that he can. He could have walked away a year or 2 ago. But why would he if there's, say, $200, $300, $400 million on the table? He's not gonna walk away from that. He's gonna stick around and collect the money and, take the fights that he needs to take to make that kind of money. Low risk, high reward fights that he's doing. And I can't blame him either. He's a businessman now more than he is a fighter. He wants to become a big, brand, a big name, a big, like an enterprise, like something like that. And he knows that there's the opportunity to make so much money right now in boxing. Why would he walk away? He doesn't care.
With that said, 2 names that come to mind, and you can answer both of them the same way. Do you think he fights Terence Crawford? Because that's the rumored match that everybody thinks is going to happen in September. And do you think before he retires, does he give Benavidez a chance?
I think they do the Crawford fight. I'm not very excited for it either, but I think they do it because so much money that's being poured out there. And Crawford obviously also would like to take that fight because he's going to make the biggest paycheck ever. Canelo will see it like a fight that he's not going to get hurt. Even if he were to lose that fight, he's not getting hurt.
Yeah.
But he is going to collect fucking 80, 100 million or whatever the fuck he's going to collect. It's a lot of money. So he'll take it. I don't think he ever faces Benavidez or any of these other big guys like that. He's not going to be risking getting hurt no matter what price is out there. I doubt that they ever do those fights. It would have to be something fucking astronomical, something where the price of these next 4 fights for him is the price of 1 fight with Benavidez. Maybe he might do something like that, but I doubt it. Look at his last few fights. He's taken fights that have very low risk, but he's still making fucking 40, 50, 60 million dollars or whatever he makes, And now that he did this 4-fight deal, I think with Turkey, I'm not sure, but I heard it was like a $400 million,
something like that.
Come on, and he gets to pick the opponents. He's not gonna pick anything dangerous.
And finally, let's talk about Mikey, man. What have you been up to since you've retired, since you've been out of the sport? You know, we see you once in a while, like we saw you backstage, we saw you ringside and things like that. But what have you been doing to just pass the time, bro?
Chilling. Spending time with the family, with friends, my dad, traveling, just enjoying, man. You have to remember that when you're in boxing, you dedicate your entire life, your entire time to the sport. Even when you're in between fights, you're not 100% vacationing. You're still watching what you eat. You're still training. You're still staying in shape. You're available for the media. You make time for press conferences. You go to a fight, but you're there working. You're not there to just enjoy as a fan. You're there to work. You
promote maybe what's coming up.
You talk to the media. You talk to networks. You go talk to a manager or whatever it is, promoter. You're still working in a sense. You never get to really enjoy as a fan or just, you know, as a regular spectator. So when you're in boxing, you dedicate your entire time to the sport. You miss out on so much other things in life, so many other aspects. You miss out on life. You miss out on events. You miss out on holidays, vacations. You miss out on birthdays. You miss out on so many things for the sport of boxing. Or at least I did. Well, right now I'm just enjoying myself, enjoying my time with my dad, my brother, my sister. This morning I was at breakfast with them, my kids, you know, vacationing with them, traveling with them, even just taking them to school. Go watch them get an award at school. You know, little things like that I missed out before. I'm taking advantage of my free time to do so. Going out with friends, you know, vacationing with friends, doing stuff, you know, for a certain holiday, get together with carne asada and fucking chill and watch a game or whatever. A lot of things that we never got to do because of boxing, I'm enjoying right now. So I really like what I got going.
And ultimately, I know that you go on live here once in a while and everything on your Instagram and everything. Let the fans know where they can follow you. Continue to, even after the sport, get to know more about Mikey.
Yeah, I do go on live once in a while on Instagram. Team Mikey Garcia. I handle my account. That's the only social media platform I have. I do not have anything else. And even on social media, I'm not big on like posting so much on Instagram. But I do handle my account. I do put out there whenever I'm, you know, certain events or certain things. I'll let everybody know, and I'll go live, things of that. But that's the only social media I have, Instagram. And I do like to go on it once in a while, but I'm not very active. I think the younger crowd, the younger generation is the one that's constantly on it. That's just not me. I like to keep my privacy also.
Gotcha.
I don't like to tell everybody where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I'm eating, you know, what I'm wearing. I don't do all of that, but I do go on it once in a while, just to remind people that I'm still here. You know, I'm still handling my own page, and you know, if anybody, you know, keeps up with that, they'll notice, they'll realize, you know, oh, he's over here, oh, he was over there, or you know, things of that.
Well, I thank you for your time, Mikey. As always, great chatting with you, man.
Always.